Bendithian, welcome to the Sanctum. So I'm trying filming in another room. We're gonna see how this works. If not, we'll have to go back to the same old, but I wanted to try to mix it up a little bit, even though similar style, just a slightly different aspect here. So today I'm reviewing the Legacy of the Divine Tarot by Ciro Marchetti. I have wanted this deck. Oh my god. When I had the opportunity to get this deck, it was one of the very first decks I just grabbed. So I'm not going to tell you that, oh, I just wanted this deck because it was pretty and it was, I have just grabbed this. No, this deck has been possibly 5 years in the making of getting. Since at least 2013, I've been trying to get this deck. 2012. So I have been after this deck for a while. So with finally getting this deck, I'm going to take this box out of the way, by the way. I wanted to show it to you. So first off, it is a thick book and I am in the middle of reading it. So you're going to see my postcard from my friend Flo from the group Cassandra, that Paris is magical, and it is, I'm eventually going to go to Paris, and then that is going to be the end of it because I probably will never come back to the United States once I hit Europe. And the interesting thing about it is that with this book, he goes over the days of how the card was, how the cards came into being, and then he goes into each of the cards themselves, what they mean. He goes into what he thinks of them and how others have seen the cards as. The traditional meanings, the reverse keywords, the elemental attributes, the planetary attributes, gifts that it means, the advice, and a quote. And one of the cool things about it is when I was reading through, and I was just doing a glance through for friends that I was showing the book to, was the fact that a lot of this kind of really hit home for me. Some of the keywords, the descriptions, but more importantly, because I'm working on my own deck right now with a friend of mine, Peggy. She and I really have gone really hard to not only to adapt the Rider-Waite system to ourselves, to keep to the depth and knowledge of them, but also to exemplify for how we're doing the cards to mean what we want them to mean. In the sense of, we're not trying to move completely away from them, but we're trying to enhance it, to give it a deeper, better meaning, that when you look at the cards, whether you're a newcomer to tarot or you've been using tarot forever, you spontaneously have more of a way of combining cards and knowledge at your fingertips. And that's something with reading this book, I have found that it seems to be the case here. And I've seen things here that just kind of make me go, oh my god, this is just so in line with the way I feel, with the way I think. And it made me realize really how much I actually love Ciro's work even more. And they also have spreads in here, and there's a couple of spreads, how to read it. It's by Lisa Refallo. And what's really cool is that there's some spreads in here that kind of help you in regards to like if you have questions, how to interpret the cards, look at certain symbols, what do they mean for you, internalizing the cards, connecting with your deck, so extra, finding the perfect bag, some exercises about centering yourself, charging the deck, how each card can be a gateway to explore your inner landscape, which I thought was really an interesting variation. So there's like the legacy spread. What have I inherited? What is my legacy? What do I need to work on? Which is something you could do daily. A knight spread, the pages or what is needed spread. A king and queen spread, which, and then they have the different attributes and such. The zodiac signs and things. The interesting about this is the fact that for me, it started me on my journey. I have the Holistic Tarot by Benabel Wen, which if you haven't picked up that book, get it either in ebook form or in regular print form. I have ebook. I'm probably going to get the in print form now. It's huge. Same with her Tao of Craft, which I would highly recommend both books if you have not gotten either of her books. But the Holistic Tarot is a way to look at tarot in a more thorough format beyond the predictive type. It's more interpretive, and it's an interesting way to actually grow your craft skills. So I want to show you some of the cards like I normally do. The Devil. Oh! The Four of Swords. Temperance. And these all have a different look to them compared to like the Gilded Tarot, which I own. And even the Gilded Reverie Lenormand decks, our deck is a little bit more like this, but a little bit different. And I love this look too. Now, he does have a new deck, which is his deck. It is his last deck that he is doing, and I'm so getting it because I want it so badly. It's not even funny. So Ciro, if you are watching this video, please know I am going to order that deck ASAP, because I am in desperate need of that deck. The Magician. Not only am I like a collector of his great works, which I really do love his style of creation. One, because I don't have this capacity to draw and to invent like this. Wish I did, actually. Maybe if I had many, many years of drawing. But also the fact that I love this Queen of Coins. It's so gorgeous. The Four of Coins. Gimme, 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 gimme. The Ace of Coins. That just says to yourself it's going to be about developing and growing. The Emperor. But this deck just kind of calls to you on a whole different level. For me anyway, it does. It calls for me on a level that requires me to break out of on the level of taking things for granted. Nine of Swords. Now, as we all know, Three of Swords is for like heartbroken or like a broken romance, and this is how it's depicted here. And look at that, it's just perfect with that kind of aspect, with the tear going through the heart. First time I saw it, I was just like, oh, just kill me now, because now I'm just gonna cry. The Empress. It's probably one of my favorite versions right there. The Fool. This is like my favorite Fool card ever I've seen. There are others that are really gorgeous. The Gaia Tarot deck that I have, but this, to me, this is truly a toss to the Renaissance feeling, with yet at the same time too a fantastical feeling. So I love the way that looks. The Ace of Wands with the dragons in it. Wheel of Fortune, which I love it with the climate all over it. It's like, yeah, pretty much it's chancy, but as things come and go, it come and go in a proper manner. So, strength. This is amazing, and it reminds me of a couple of goddesses that have worked with the big cats through time, in different mythologies around the world. And to me, this is truly the best picture of strength I have ever seen. I think in any card in this regards. Now, I know in my deck that I'm working on, I'm showing it in a different aspect, but there's a reason for it. But the aspect I'm showing it as works within its realm. But that is like the bomb. The Knight of Swords, Page of Coins, the Eight of Cups, where you're walking away, withdrawing from what you're doing. It's just perfect. Six of Cups, all about the childhood, all about the memories. Ten of Cups. And I love how within these cups, he has within these different things, if you look, you can find different hints of different aspects. Like in this one, it has the one symbol, the feminine symbol, and it has that. If you look in here, you see the symbol here for death. On the Page of Swords, you see the little symbol here. So the Four of Wands, which makes the homecoming, the basically like marriage, family gathering, together time. The Chariot, which I love that symbolism that they give. So I actually love this deck already. I have shuffled this deck until I cannot grow anymore. Now I wanted to show this particular card, two cards, because one, they really represents two different things for me. One is this one, which is the Six of Wands, and if you look at the background, you can see that the symbols are right there against the wall. The other reason why I wanted to show that card and this card, which is the Sun, is look how it's both ancient and it's also like steampunk, yet it's also kind of like today. And that's one of the things about this. It's like future and ancient and altogether something that's us now and things to come and things that have gone. And I think, honestly, truthfully, that's part of why I really wanted this deck. People have talked about it. People have mentioned it, and I love the back too. It reminds me so much of a steampunk moment. So one of the things that I did when I got this deck is I really kind of meditated on the hows and the whys of the deck. This is one of the few decks of his that have never gone down in price that much, probably a couple of dollars here and there, but it has stayed steady. And by the way, unlike most Llewellyn decks that usually most people say feel thinner, this has a thicker feeling. It's still this, I think it's the instead of the 280 GSM, which is grams per square meter paper, I think this is a full 300, and with the finish on it, it feels thicker and it bends better. So definitely hurrah for this. The box isn't as good as a lot of the boxes we get. It's a bigger box, of course, to hold everything. But they could have done a better tuck box for it. Whether it had been just a thumbnail box that you could have just picked up and had the book and the card set inside of it within another box. They could have redesigned that box a little bit better. So I'm going to do a reading with these cards, and I'm going to be honest with you. I have had this deck all of about a day and a half, 2 days. Yeah, just a little over 2 days now. I've pulled cards, just to pull cards for just thought purposes, just to get to see if it would pull upon my feelings, which it's been fairly, ooh, there we go. It's been fairly accurate, and then some. So what I'm doing is I'm just going to pull some cards for a reading, and we're going to just go over what this is telling us for our purposes right now. And right now it's not in any particular order. I'm gonna teach you how you can deal cards and it be out of order. That the order it comes in is not the order it necessarily needs to be in. And then I'll explain why. Because sometimes when you deal cards, do you ever feel that the cards are not in the order that they should be in? Because, well, sometimes that happens. So one of the things I've learned is, and this is something that you'll learn through the years, is a format called storyboarding. Sometimes when you deal out the cards, and this is the way that the cards came out, they may not make necessarily any sense the way that they've come out. Okay. So, and you might look at them and go, okay, 6 of Wands, 7 of Swords. So we're doing this. Now we're stealing away. Yet we're working hard to a heartbreak. We're gonna be tempted, but we're gonna ride, and we have this wonderful female energy. And you're like, we're going like up and down the whole freaking way. And a lot of times it does make sense. And I can tell you that I can make sense out of this fairly well, but I can also tell you that there's some parts that should be joined together. So one of the things that I usually tell people is this: when you hold the cards like you're holding a hand in your hand, like you're playing bridge, or if you're playing gin rummy, is when you look at a card like this, what are the first things that you see in the corners? Those are usually what I call the spy hands. They're the ones that are actually signaling to you that these are going to be the ones that are going to hit your moment notice. And they're going to be some of the first ones that are actually going to come out. And then these are the 4 that are left. So of the 4 that are left, what we're looking at is that we're going to look at what I do is we have the 6, the Devil, the Chariot, and the Queen. So what I usually do at that point is I just ignore these for right now, and I look at what's here. And there's a reason for this. Okay. And it's going to go in this order. And there's a reason. So what's happening right now in your life is that you've been working hard on stuff. We know this for a fact. Everybody's been going through some serious change right now. So we've been working hard. Sometimes it seems like we're working more and either getting less, or we're working so hard and being productive, and we think we're doing quite well, but we've been also experiencing some heartbreak, some changes in our life that seems to be whether we're having to give up on relationships, friendships, maybe some changes like even with jobs that we've had for a long time that have had changed over. We've had to take a lesser job within a business, or maybe we didn't get the job we thought we would get. And then there's the swords, the 7 of Swords. We also feel like some things have been taken away. It's like a thief in the night kind of feeling. Somebody's seen it happen, something has, it's been watched, but we still have that empty feeling inside. So what we have coming next is because of this, is just as the bird is watching, the devil is watching. So we see that temptation. We have that temptation to get angry. We have the temptation to want to go out and overdo things. Now, the reason why we have this temptation to go out and overdo things is because the fact that we're tempted to, basically, we're all wanting to do things to get rid of the pain. We can't blame ourselves. Really, we can't. So from these 3 cards, which ones would you pick next? Where are we heading going forward? Well, this is where we're heading. We need to look in the direction that we are now. We need to feel that energy, the energy of the Queen of Wands. We need to work that energy. Look at that depth. Look into the heart of who and what we are. What we need to really materialize within ourselves. We know that the devil energy is not something we want to embody, but the queenly energy, the energy that says, hey, there are things that we can truly do. Things that we can do to minimize this loss, minimize this feeling of having things stolen away. And it's funny because the Queen of Wands in the book is actually one of my favorite cards in here. And I wanted to read it to you because with the Queen of Wands, it is an interesting card because there's a description here. It says, the fire within the Queen of Wands smolders with intense desire. She has the power to make your deepest wishes come true, or destroy them if you cross her. She never does anything halfway, and she knows what it's like to truly be alive. Commanding, generous, self-governing, dramatic, optimistic performer, authority. She pauses from her dance to observe you. She wears a silk red dress with an ethereal black veil. Her hair is piled elaborately on her head, and her braids chime as she moves. Her face paint looks like red flames. So think about that for a second with regards to her. She is looking at you at the idea of you can be empowered. You can be passionate again. You can move forward. And that's what she's telling you to embody. Forget being this addicted into that heart moment of obsessing over everything that's going wrong, the heartbreak, things going not your way, things being taken away from you, not getting the job you want, things of that nature. It happens. The problem is maybe the job that you wanted is not really the job for you. You have a better job that's waiting. You don't know until you try. And 10 to 1, most of you are not trying for the job you're really, truly better for because you think you're not good enough. And how do we know that? The Chariot. The Chariot tells us that we have to be evenly yoked. Most of us are not as evenly yoked, and we're not evenly balanced. We're not taking our shadow side into consideration because shadow sides, we have a tendency to be told our bad half must be kept under control. Well, the bad half is the one that gets triggered. It's not really a bad half. It's just your shadow side that says, oh my God, I just, something just set me off. Well, why did it set you off? Are you jealous? Are you upset? More importantly, what does it make you do? Do you work harder or do you pull away? When you have your shadow self in balance with your light half, the half of you that you present to the world, you are able to go forward in ways you never thought possible. You step forward and take on things that a year or 2 ago you'd be like, oh my God, I'm not ready for that. I can't do anything like that. I'm in no way, shape, or form ready to do anything like that nonsense. And yet you do. Yet you take that on. And yet you accomplish it all. So that's something to realize that's out there for you. And then you look at the Six of Wands, strutting your stuff, going out and accomplishing it, looking like the hero, looking like the one who is able to get things finished for you. The interesting thing about the Six of Wands, and I actually started laughing when I read it, was the fact that, and I glanced at a lot of these definitions and things in the book, and I loved it because it was like right on fire for me. Now, with the Six of Wands, it says, who is a mighty warrior? One who has mastered his own fire. Victorious over your own desires, urges, and actions, you now move forward without opposition toward whatever comes next. It's about achieving victory through hard-won battles, as well as the accompanying praise, acclaim, and glory. In the Legacy Tarot, we see a triumphant rider with a dragon motif on his shield and helmet, riding past an archetypical triumphal arch. Glyphs for both Leo and Jupiter figure prominently on the arch, with their attendant attributes of stubbornness, impulsiveness, and a flair for the dramatic, and optimism and good fortune. So, this is about being successful. It's about success. It's about this hard work and all the hardships in between, accepting our shadow self, finding balance, to getting even better than before. And this is not the order the cards came in. It's a whole different process of looking at cards. And I'll do a special video just on how to choose how to make this cards, how to read cards when they come out, if they don't look normal, or if the reading value doesn't read normal across the board the way that you have it put out, just so you can, even if you just look at it, you mentally put it in right, and then just when you read it to the other person, how you can put it into perspective. But this is what we're looking at. These are perfect for you. So this is what we're looking at for the future reading. We're looking at the idea of, you may have a bouncy hardship. You're working hard. Things are, whether it be you're getting caught up, whether you're just trying to make do, and you're getting, you've been working hard to get things done for the year. Spring is coming. You're having some setbacks. You've had to give up some stuff, and it's making you really upset. Been tempted to yell and scream at people. Yell at yourself. Do some hard work on your shadow self. Realize you got to get yourself in alignment. See it pay off. So, this is the deck. The Legacy of the Divine by Ciro Marchetti. I will tell you this right now. It is a 7 out of 7 chakras. 10 out of 10. 4 out of. It is a 5 out of 5 when it comes to the elements. I cannot say enough good things about it. The only thing that I would ever take anything off for is the box. It is definitely not a box long-term storage for. I wish it was a better box, but other than that, this deck is, and this deck's gonna be kept into a bag, a special bag for it, because it's gonna be used. I highly recommend it. So if you get a chance to pick up this deck, whether new or used, do so. It is worth every penny. It's perfect. See? Basically, all the hard times are over. You're basically going to work yourself from the bottom up. So, bottoms up. Until next time, Bendithian.